Hello, everybody. It is a beautiful day at the end of January. So, we are going to talk about how do energy cords get attached? How does that actually work? And how can you know if you have an energy cord attachment or some other kind of entity attachment or a vortex attached or a portal attached in your energy field, which is also sometimes called the aura. Or if so anyway, we're just going to explore all of that in the next few minutes here. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type your questions into the chat box, and I will do my best to get to those by the end of the session. If I don't get to those by the end of this live session, then I will get to them in another live. So go ahead and pop your questions in at any point, even if you're watching this as a replay. Okie dokie. So we are going to dive into how exactly does it work for energy cords to get attached. So I don't know if you've heard my story previously, but it was about the time that I had a really strong, super powerful energy cord attached to me. And basically, how that works is energy cords are formed by agreement, even if you don't realize that you're agreeing to that. Um, Entity attachments are a little bit different. And we can explore that a little bit more deeply. And I think that it's kind of more individual depending on the individual person. I've seen entity attachments that people actually brought into themselves accidentally. I would say accidentally. There was one that I saw where this guy came to me and he was like, I don't know what is going on with me. I'm so angry and I don't like being angry and I'm just angry all the time. Even when I'm feeling really super great and happy, I just have this underlying anger all the time. And so I was looking and I was like, okay, so here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that you have this demonic entity attached to you, and it's sitting on your left shoulder, and it's been there for 4 lifetimes. And, obviously in the session, I didn't say it like that. I was much more gentle, and you know, I, I prepared him for the information and all that stuff. But just in the retelling of the story, this is like the super short version. For lifetimes previous, he had been a monk, and I saw him in the brown with the rope belt and the shaved head, the tuck friar, the total tuck friar look. And he had actually gone to somebody to do an exorcism. He was called in to do an exorcism. And in this case, there was actually for reals a real actual demonic being attached to this person. And he exorcised this being, but this being was an interdimensional being and he didn't know he knew how to get it off of the other person, but he didn't know how to open a gateway back into this being's dimension. That was just beyond him. And so what ended up happening is this demonic being attached to him. And this was a person who, for lifetime after lifetime, was a really good human being, had lived many, many lifetimes. And so what ended up happening is that this demonic being and him um, shared energy somehow. And when as the demonic being became more docile and calm, which was his true nature, the man's true nature, the man took on some of the lower vibrational anger energy that the demonic being was carrying. And, I use the word demonic because I don't know how else to say it really. Lower vibrational entity, but I would definitely move into the realm of demonic because is just full of such negative, like really intensely negative energy. But here's the thing. By the time he came to me, after 4 lifetimes of this being with him, the being was so docile and so just like, whatever. It was just hanging on to him because it didn't have anywhere else to go. It didn't know how to get back into its own dimensional reality. And so all I did was I opened the doorway for it and it was just like whoosh. I didn't even have to really try that hard. I just opened the door for it and it just whooshed right back into its own dimensional space. So in that case, with that kind of an attachment, that was also, I would say that was accidental and circumstantial. And I haven't done a ton of demonic attachment removals, but I've done several. And each one is really unique and different. Some of them are interdimensional beings that just need to be taken back. Some of them are, whew, yeah, a lot of times it's interdimensional. I was just remembering the most intense one that I ever did, and that one was really intense. My guides almost got sucked into the vortex that I had to create in order to remove this demonic entity or this other interdimensional being. And they needed a permanent vacation after that. My guides did. My guides were like, "All right, that's it. I can't. You're gonna have to get somebody else because I'm done here." That was really actually kind of shocking to me. And also in that one removal, I was completely calm. Like I was so calm, and I think it's because I had to hold that. I had to anchor that calm in super, super hard so that I didn't get sucked into the vortex along with it. Like I had to be 100% neutral and completely calm in order to create that. My guides did not get sucked into the vortex. I tried to extend my calm, anchored neutrality to them, but they were totally freaking out. I just have to say, they were like, it was like trying to put a cat in a bathtub. My guys were all like, trying to stay out of the vortex. It was, in retrospect, I feel really sorry for them. But I had a really strong sense that they weren't going to get sucked in. But I did get the entity through and closed it. Um, so, anyway, yeah, all different kinds of crazy things can happen. How do energy cords get attached? That those energy cords are formed by agreement, like I say. It takes a really powerful person to attach, or I should say, it takes a really powerful energy to attach an energy cord. And one of the ways in which energy cords remain intact and remain hidden is by the agreements, but the agreements are very emotional based and they're very locked into the emotional body. And also, energy cords and demonic attachments, all kinds of attachments can carry on from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Like I said with the guy that was Tuck Fryer 4 lifetimes before. Um, and so that points to the energy cords not necessarily actually being attached into the energy body, but also attached into the light body. Because the light body is what we hold. That's our soul signature. It's our soul signature. And so, if you imagine that we are soul beings inside of a physical form, and our physical form has its own energy system, and that's the energy body. It's connected to our physical body. That's the chakras, the energy meridians that run through our whole body. That's the energy field, which is also called the aura. And it's also the central energy channel that connects our crown to our root. So all that whole system is called the energy body, and it's very much connected into our physical form. Um, Our light body is connected to our soul self. It's our soul signature. So we bring our light body with us lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So when we open the Akashic records and look at our book of life, that whole thing, that whole progression is connected to our light body, connected to our soul signature. And then there's the emotional body. And the emotional body interacts with both the light body and the energy body. And it's kind of like glue. So when energy cords are formed, that agreement usually uses some type of emotional glue or in an emotional anchor. And that's why, when we clear trauma from past lives, the trauma is stuck in our light body. It manifests through our emotional body into our energy body. So we can sometimes, from previous lifetimes, like if we were impaled somewhere and then in this lifetime we have like this chronic pain in our neck with no understanding of why that is like that, or no medical reason that can explain it. Or there's, a myriad of things that you're born with that maybe there's no sort of real reason for or medical explanation for, that those things can be carried over from lifetime, from a previous lifetime, and show up in our energy body, our physical form, because of the imprint left over in our light body, our soul signature. And the reason that shows up is not to bother us, not to upset us, not to, be a pain in our neck, as it were, but it's begging for resolution. That's what it wants. It wants to be resolved. So how do we resolve that kind of stuff? And that's why I created the Align Your Light Journey. It's an 8-week journey for women who are intuitive beings and want to really slough off all of the accumulated trauma from past lives, from ancestral inheritance, and from the collective consciousness. I mean, women have been, we have been under the rule of the other half of the population for thousands of years during this patriarchal period. And, men have been subjected to that as well. And men are at this time going through huge amounts of pain around that, because it's hard to change and there are expectations built into our cultural, our cultural way, that keep men in those perpetual stories of domination, even if they're fighting against them. And that creates a lot of upset for a lot of men. And, obviously it creates a lot of upset for a lot of women too. And women are kind of in this heyday right now of sloughing off, like really peeling off those layers of the past in order to rise up into our full power. So this program, the Align Your Light Journey, is really for women. It's for intuitive women who really want to re-empower that intuition, because part of what's happened in the last several thousand years is that, we as women have been persecuted for our intuition. And a lot of us have put up our own blockages in our intuition in order for self-preservation. So that's a lot, that's another part of the program is, or this Align Your Light Journey, is to empower that intuition and at the same time go through each one of the chakras to remove attachments, to remove entities if they're there, and also to remove all of the blockages that we have built up lifetime after lifetime after lifetime over the last several thousand years in this patriarchy. So, anyway, if you're interested in checking out, if you want a free energy assessment, or if you're interested in the Align Your Light Journey, I'm running an incredible special right now. $500 off of the 8 weeks, and you get 8 private sessions plus all the tons of healing and meditations and everything in the coursework. So, and that's, go at your own pace and it never goes away. So anyway, there's a link right in the description of this live video, and you can follow that link to get the free chat. You have to apply for it. There's just a few questions there. It's totally not a big deal. And we can get to know each other and find out what it is that you actually need. Do you have attachments that are ready to be released, or are there other things that could really, that are showing up to be, resolved at this point? So anyway, go ahead and click on that link, get the free chat, because I totally want to talk with you. And we will just get together, just an informal get to know each other kind of thing. I'll ask you some questions about how things are going for you. And you can tell me what you're experiencing and what you're wanting, and we'll see what the most appropriate way for you to move forward is. All right, so click on that link and I will see you inside the Align Your Light journey. Cheers.